mesdames et messieurs.
Bonjour.
Shall we try that again? Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Bonjour. Thank you. Thank you for coming bright and early. I'm going to do everything I can to tell you all you need to know about the French buying process in half an hour. Wish me luck. There's a lot to it, but I'll do my best. So who are we? Heslop and Platt solicitors. We're a regulated firm of solicitors based in Leeds. Don't let that put you off. Leeds is a nice city these days. But our client base is nationwide. So our clients are all over the UK, all over France. We have clients from Singapore, Hong Kong, the US. So the geography doesn't really matter. We're very happy to meet clients who want to come for a face-to-face meeting in Leeds, but most of our work is done by email and telephone. So all we do is French work. Although we're UK qualified solicitors, all we do is the French work. So we're very niche and very specialised, and there aren't very many of us that do this sort of work in the UK. So I've got a team of 5. There's 3 of us who are qualified solicitors, a paralegal and an office manager. So we've got a good depth of experience and lots of capacity to help all you nice people. So we help people with their purchases in France. We also help people who are selling. We help with probates. So when a loved one's passed away, owning a share in a property, we deal with that. We deal with the estate planning. French inheritance law is very different to inheritance law in the UK. I'll say a little bit about that at the end. When couples own a property and they get divorced, we help transfer ownership from joint names to one name. So there's always a property involved, but we do the full range of legal services, working with professionals in France, and we work with notaries and avocats and other professionals all over France, so we're not limited to any particular area. So the first point is, what are you intending to buy? David's already sort of asked for a show of hands. And those of you that are looking at an existing property where there's no building or renovation required, the first thing you should be thinking about when you're seeing this sort of a property and you think this is just right for us, this is really just what we want, and no work required, we can move straight in. First thing you need to think about is, well, actually, what's already been done to this property to make it perfect for us now? Has it been extended already? Is there a swimming pool that's clearly been added recently? The biggest problems we have in our office are planning issues, because there's a lot of people of all nationalities who've bought property in France and done works without getting the necessary planning authorisation. And you don't want to be inheriting a property that is in breach of planning, because if you then want to go on and do something else to that property, you may find that your application is refused. Okay, so it's really important you find this property that's great, but think about what might already have been done, and you need to be asking to see evidence that they got not just the planning authorisation, but that they also got it signed off. They lodged the declaration of completion of works and the certificate of conformity, or the declaration of conformity. So, huge issue. Don't think because it's great, it doesn't need any work. There are no questions that need to be asked. Existing property that does need some work, it's really important here not just to proceed with fingers crossed we'll be able to get consent for what we want to do. Oh, well, we popped into the mairie and we spoke to the mayor and he shrugged his shoulder and said, yeah, it'll be fine. It's not enough to rely on, a shrug of the shoulders or a nod or, yes, it's fine. You really need to be thinking about, is this change that we want to make to this property, this extension or building a pool, is it crucial to our future use and enjoyment of the property? And if the answer is yes, then you need to make the contract, the initial contract, which I'll talk about, which is the compromis de vente, you need to make that conditional on you getting the authorisation that's needed. Okay? Whether it's outline planning permission or full planning permission, or just a positive response to a declaration of intended work, which is a lesser form of authorisation. So this is something that we do regularly for our clients. We talk about what are your plans for this property. And if it's clear that some sort of authorisation will be needed, then we make sure that the contract is changed to include that condition for your protection so that if you don't get the authority, then you can pull out. Really, really crucial. We've had a case in the office just in the last couple of weeks where we advised the clients they must put this condition in. The notary even said, oh, it won't be a problem, they'll get permission. The applications come back rejected. So, really, I can't stress, more the importance of that. And we work very closely with Arthur Cutler of French Plans, who's over on the stand here. Arthur's helping a number of our clients at the moment. So if you have got property in mind already, and you know that you might need to apply for some sort of planning authorisation, please talk to Arthur, because he really knows his stuff. So the start of the process, if you are buying through an estate agent, which many of you will be, you'll have a viewing trip and you'll start to see various properties. And the first thing you might be asked to sign is something called a bon de visite. And that's just a little slip of paper. And there's no problem signing that. You're not committing yourself to anything. It's purely so the agent can prove that they showed you that property first. Because a lot of properties will be on the market with more than one agent. So obviously, if you go ahead and buy that property, the agent wants their commission. They have to prove that they showed it to you first. So no problem, if an agent shows you a property and wants you to sign the bon de visite, that's fine. You don't need any legal advice before you sign that. Moving on, you find the property you want. The agent, you make an offer. The agent will draw up this offre d'achat, offre d'acquisition, an offer to buy. And this will be a single-page document with your name, the seller's name, the property, and the price that you're offering. But you need to understand that it'll be in French. And what's really important here is that you add in anything that your offer is subject to. So if you want to have a survey, and I'll talk about surveys in a moment, or if you know that you will need to get planning permission or some form of planning authorisation for works, you need to put that in the offer. If you are reliant on finance, you need to get a mortgage to help with the purchase, you need to put that in the offer. So anything that your offer is conditional on, put it in the offer, because otherwise it's not going to be too late to add these things in to the contract, but there might be a resistance from the seller. So be upfront right from the start as to what your offer is, and don't hide anything. Be totally upfront about it. Okay. And if you don't understand it, then get some help from someone who can explain it to you. The offre d'achat, it can't actually bind you to the purchase. You can only be bound by signing the compromis de vente, and then you have a cooling off period once you've signed that. So the offre d'achat can't really bind you, but it is still the first stage in the process. Surveying. French don't do surveys. Who's heard that? It's a bit of a myth, and I always say if you wouldn't buy in the UK without a survey, why buy in France without a survey? No, there's no magic. This is your money, You need to be sure that the property is structurally sound. We work with a series of British qualified surveyors working in France. We can give you their details as part of our purchase pack. For peace of mind, really, just to know that there isn't some major structural problem with this property. For the sake of maybe 800,000 euros, possibly. The different surveyors will offer a different range of survey, but it's certainly worth considering. And unless you're a building professional of some sort and you're comfortable from your own inspection, please think about it. I've